It's Valentine's Day again, and you know what that means. It's time to talk about love as it pertains to fictional characters. And in this one, I wanted to tackle a subject I hadn't really thought of until I sat down and started writing my own book. Should fictional romance be realistic? In prior Valentine's Day specials, I've talked about various ships, good, bad, and dumb fun, and I've talked a lot about the importance of romance in the history of civilization and art, but I never really gave advice on how to write it. And it's because I've never given it much thought. In my fanfiction series, I just did whatever I thought was cool or neat. In my real life, I'm not involved in the dating scene, really. I don't go out and meet girls, I don't do dating apps or anything like that. If I do end up with a long-term girlfriend, I'll basically have to luck into it. But now I'm a published author and I have to put a lot more thought into what I write. Now, my first book, The Hellfire Brats, doesn't have much in the way of romance, but over the course of the series, I hope to flesh out certain relationships in fun and realistic ways. But what is realistic and what's fun for that matter? Fact of the matter is that every relationship is going to be a little different, and so setting up a template or listing a bunch of rules restricts writers from exploring other character dynamics, which I am adamantly against. There shouldn't be any hard and fast rules when it comes to storytelling. The more we try to treat genre conventions like a template, the more stagnant the genre will become. Ever wonder why a lot of rom-coms have identical setups and payoffs? It's because the people who write those rom-coms are told they have to do things a certain way. Our brains may be hardwired to favor certain patterns, but that's not an excuse for lazy writing. I believe writers shouldn't be scared to draw on their own life experience to craft a compelling narrative. 2019's Marriage Story and 2012's Silver Linings Playbook were rightfully praised for how they portrayed relationships in a raw and volatile way. But here's the kicker: no movie, no show is ever going to do this perfectly. Alfred Hitchcock once said that movies are like life with all the boring parts cut out, and building a relationship is all about the boring parts. At least for me, the best parts of a relationship, romantic or otherwise, are those game nights, long hours and long walks, staying up until 3 a.m. talking about whatever comes to mind, and all that other stuff a movie will montage through if they show us at all. Let's pick on a popular pair of examples that constantly come under fire from cynical critics: the Disney versions of Little Mermaid and Beauty and the Beast. Now, one of these films is superior to the other. Beauty and the Beast is much more focused on the titular romance, using various background details to show us how much time is passing throughout its montages. The Little Mermaid is a lot less focused. Yes, it's about Ariel and Eric falling in love, but it's also about Ariel making a dumb deal with a sea witch because teenagers are stupid and nobody knows what they're doing. The Little Mermaid, and a lot of Disney movies for that matter, have at various points in time been picked on for how quickly they get the couple together and get them married. 3 days is all it takes? Really? But is that all it took? Or is that just how long it took to start an initial relationship? Because I know people who have hit it off and started dating after just 1 day. There's an unknown amount of time between Ursula's defeat and the wedding, and all sorts of stuff that has no bearing on the actual plot could have happened in that amount of time. We just don't really see it. Or maybe this is a fairy tale with an 80-minute runtime and this was the only way to give it a satisfactory ending without going as dark as the book went. Neither one of these examples does a perfect job showing the growth in their central romance, but it also doesn't have to because they're fantasy. They require a suspension of disbelief, and bloating their runtime any longer for the sake of being realistic would turn the movies into a slog. So no, I don't think romance needs to be realistic, but maybe give your audience some wiggle room and put in some context clues to help them fill in the blanks. I'm Mediocrity4, thanks for watching.